Hey, Nora. So we're diving back into the golden age today, right? And I really want to talk about something that blew my mind when I first learned it. The sheer absolute power the studios had over their stars. It wasn't just, a job. It was total ownership. We're talking about those infamous 7-year slave contracts.
Oh, right. The ones where the studios owned everything from their hair color to their personal lives. It's wild to think about now. Like I heard they could even dictate who a star could date or marry. Is that like an urban legend or actually true?
Absolutely true, Nora. Not an urban legend at all. For a major studio like MGM or Warner Brothers, if you were under contract, they controlled your image, your public appearances, your interviews, even, like you said, your romantic life to a shocking degree. They'd actively try to prevent scandals because it could damage their property, their stars. It was all about protecting their investment.
Wow, that's so intense. So, if a star wanted to refuse a role, could they? Or was it just here's your next film, no questions asked?
Well, they could refuse, but there were huge consequences. Studios would suspend them, which meant no pay, and the contract would just be extended for the period of the suspension. It was a vicious cycle. But, some stars did push back. Bette Davis, for example. She actually sued Warner Bros. In 1937 to get out of her contract.
No way! Bette Davis? I mean, she had such a strong persona on screen, but to actually take on a massive studio? That's incredible. What happened? Did she win?
Unfortunately, no. She lost the case. The court ruled in favor of Warner Bros., upholding the validity of those standard contracts. But here's the thing, Nora. Even though she lost, it was a massive statement. It really brought public attention to the restrictive nature of these deals. It sparked a conversation.
So she lost the battle, but maybe she won the war in a way? Like inspiring others? I heard Olivia de Havilland years later, actually, she did win a similar case.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Olivia de Havilland's landmark case in 1944, which led to the de Havilland Law, finally limited the extension of contracts past 7 calendar years, regardless of suspensions. It was a massive victory, and it truly chipped away at the studio's iron grip. It paved the way, for more creative freedom for actors. And speaking of control, we can't talk about unscripted stories without talking about the Hays Code. For like 3 decades, this moral guideline dictating what could and couldn't be shown on screen was incredibly pervasive.
Oh, the Production Code Administration. I always think of it as the puritanical big brother of Hollywood. So, Mark, what were some of the craziest things it censored or made studios work around?
Well, everything from excessive kissing to showing a toilet on screen, let alone any implied sexuality or violence. They famously forbade showing married couples in the same bed, even if it was just, a married couple sleeping. Any hint of criminal activity being glamorized or showing a criminal getting away with it was a no-go. Joseph Breen, who headed the PCA, he was relentless, Nora. They even had rules about how much cleavage could be shown or how long a kiss could last.
That's wild. So, how did writers and directors work around that? I mean, they still made some incredibly iconic films during that time. There had to be some clever ways they navigated those rules, right?
Oh, absolutely. It forced incredible creativity, Nora. Instead of explicit dialogue, they used innuendo, visual metaphors, or cleverly framed shots. Think about the famous line in Casablanca, "Here's looking at you, kid." It's romantic, but it doesn't cross any lines. Or, in films where characters couldn't directly talk about certain things, they'd use knowing glances, specific music cues, or even, like, staging that implied a lot without saying anything explicit.
So it's like a masterclass in subtlety then. I mean, that's almost more effective sometimes, leaving things to the imagination. What about things like pre-code films? I heard about those, where they were like way more risque before the code was strictly enforced.
Spot on. Pre-code Hollywood, roughly 1929 to 1934, was a completely different beast. Films like Babyface with Barbara Stanwyck or Red-Headed Woman with Jean Harlow, they were incredibly daring. Sex, violence, alcoholism, even depictions of adultery and women with agency who weren't punished for it. It was a wild time, Nora, completely unbridled compared to what came after. The studios were just, trying to sell tickets during the Depression.
Wow, that makes me want to go back and watch all those pre-code films. It's like a whole different window into what Hollywood could have been.
Totally. And while we're on the subject of unscripted stories and hidden gems, let's talk about some of the unsung heroes of the Golden Age. We always hear about the big stars, but there were incredible character actors, cinematographers, costume designers who were just absolutely essential.
Oh, I love this. Like the people who were maybe not front and center, but made everything shine. Who comes to mind, Mark?
Well, for instance, someone like Thelma Ritter. She was in All About Eve, Rear Window, Pillow Talk. Never the lead, but her comedic timing and her ability to steal every scene she was in was legendary. 6 Oscar nominations for Best Supporting Actress. Or think about Edith Head, the costume designer. 8 Academy Awards, Nora. She dressed practically every major star, creating so many of those iconic looks.
Edith Head. Oh, I know her. She's legendary. I mean, the detail in those costumes, they were like characters in themselves. And Thelma Ritter, you're right. She had that spark. It makes you wonder how many other, like, brilliant people were, kind of in the background making magic happen.
So many, Nora. And that's really part of the charm of the Golden Age, isn't it? Beyond the glitz and glamour, there are these layers of complexity, of human struggle, and incredible talent, both seen and unseen. It wasn't just pretty faces. It was an entire ecosystem of craft and control.
It really was. And I think that's why it still resonates so much with us today. Like, seeing how they navigated those challenges, the creativity born out of restriction, it's pretty inspiring, actually. Do you think that kind of studio control could ever happen again today?
I hope not, honestly. The industry has changed too much, thank goodness. But the legacy of that era still teaches us so much about power, about art, about what it means to be a star. It's not just old movies. It's cultural history. And exploring these unscripted stories, I think it gives us a much richer understanding of the whole picture.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like peeling back the layers of a really glamorous onion. So many surprising tiers and like sweet flavors under all that shiny surface. This was like a really great dive, Mark.